All right. You know what? Today we're going to discuss righteousness, right? And I've talked about righteousness before, and I think I've provided a lot of just. I think it's just obvious within the text, and again, it's not obvious. It's not, um, but I think I've made an argument that's a pretty solid argument that basically says that the definition of righteousness within the Torah is has to do with the will, right? I mean, if we think about if we define righteousness in our own day, then it's going to be defined more as like an attitude, right? Like a bunch of people like holding signs in a on the streets and stuff. But righteousness is in the Torah basically just the carrying out of justice. That's what it is. It has to do with the will. It has nothing to do with the mouth. It has nothing to do with your attitude or your feelings. Righteousness has to do with the will. um, and I presented my argument on different occasions as to why I think that's what they mean when they use this word righteousness. But I want to try to provide further textual evidence, and if we do that, then we go to the story of Moses, right? Moses being an example of righteousness, of what real righteousness looks like. The problem with going to the story of Moses is that like nobody understands it. It's weird. It's just totally fucking weird because like they make movies out there. There's the one with Charlton Heston, and I think there's even one with fucking what's his name, Christian Bale. Great actor, but damn, and like I didn't see the movie because like barf, it's like read the text. This is not what is happening within the text. But it seems like it's the same thing, same Charlton Heston thing, and it's like, damn, doesn't anybody know how to read? Um, but no, seriously, um, like do a little mental exercise in your head, right? Place yourself in Egypt during the events of Exodus. What do you see? What do you see, right? Well, according to the text, you see Aaron talking to the Pharaoh, right? What also do you see? You see Aaron talking to the Jewish elders. So Aaron is talking to the Jewish elders, and then now Aaron goes and talks to the Pharaoh. You don't see Moses at all. Moses is the man behind the curtain. And not figuratively speaking, literally speaking. He's the man behind the curtain. Aaron is the one doing all of the performance. So where do these characters, where does this character of Charlton Heston come in? Free my people, let my people go. It's all this theater dramatic acting shit. That's not what's happening in the text. What's happening in the text is that Moses is the man behind the curtain. Now, when we first see Moses, what do we see? We see a man that goes out and he kills the taskmaster, right? We see a man who goes and he sees two Jews arguing, and he goes and he's a juror. you know. And this is the justice of Moses. You know, he doesn't believe in any special, secretive legal people. You know, no, he was a juror, and he's going up, he's finding out what's happening between these two Jews, and he's like, hey, don't wrong this other Jew. Right? Now, why is he doing both these things? He's doing both these things because he wants to have a strong, badass Jew tribe. Like he's just he would be kind of like the nationalists today, you know. But when Moses comes back, we see a totally different Moses. We see a totally different. We see a Moses who has gained wisdom, or he thinks he has gained wisdom, and that's why he's writing this stuff, right? Because he's acting completely differently. It's not the same Moses that we see, but it is. That's what I would argue. Now, if we look at the way that he acted when he came back, right? He's now acting like his hero Abraham, right? Because Abraham would wander around. He had this little tribe, and he would wander around Mesopotamia to different city-states, and he would curse the evil people and bless the good ones, even though they weren't Jews. Like you had Abraham going into other men's tribes and blessing the good men, not killing them, and cursing the wicked men, not enriching them. Any Jew who acts differently is not a child of Abraham. And this is exactly what Moses did. Because Moses took over Egypt. It's very clear from the text. Like, go watch my Moses stuff. It's very clear. He took over Egypt. But just like Abraham, he would go in, he would kill all the bad folk, and bless all the good folk. And then he'd just walk away. And that's what Moses did. It's like, people nowadays is like, oh wow, he took over Egypt, then he could have like conquered and controlled. But no, that was not his mindset. His mindset was more loving, because he now starts to realize that this Jew who did this to him, this Jew's not of his tribe. In fact, as soon as he gets the Jews out into the desert, he starts killing all the wicked ones. You know, and he has his soldiers ready. And so, but he's acting meekly. You know, he's the guy behind the curtains. He's just the meek little guy, right? So I think what changed in Moses was this was still the same man. This was still the same man. He was still a Jew that wanted to fight for his people and make the Jews into this badass tribe. But as it says later on in the Torah, it is better to have a small good family than a large evil obnoxious family. And as goes families, so goes tribes. So, he realized that, hey, this, because he's going up to this Jew for his own good and for the good of the Jewish people. If you have one man abusing another man, well, one conclusion we can draw from this is that the abuser is dead weight in society. Like, he can only enrich himself through crime, either codified or cultural. Like that's the only way that this guy doesn't actually produce prosperity and multiplicity. He doesn't. I mean, he may have a lot of kids, but doesn't raise those kids well, obviously, because, you know, anyways, if he's going to have a heart like that, then no, he's not going to be a good father. And so Moses starts to realize who his tribe really is, right? Like it says that Moses judged the Canaanites. And what do we see? We see 100, 200 years later after Moses, and there's still Canaanites everywhere. Why? Because he didn't genocide them. He's not a modern nationalistic genocidal maniac. I mean, if you believe in a creator God, then look at the creation. You know, there's all different types of cats. There's all different types of trees. All different types of flowers. Variety is the beauty. And so, isn't a variety of colors and languages beautiful? You know, and now the world is less beautiful because all the Alawites have been genocided. Anyways. Yeah, no, I totally think, because that is righteousness. When he goes after that taskmaster, puts that motherfucker in the ground, he doesn't feel guilty at all that he killed that guy and put him in the ground. Fuck that guy. He's a taskmaster. He's a toxic waste on society. He's a killer of prosperity. He's a parasite. Um, but he feels guilty at the approach of it, right? The approach, right? Because like before, he's like getting his own hands dirty, right? And and after, he's just speaking a word, and other men are getting their hands dirty, right? Um, Moses has captured his feminine power. He's a holy man. Um, but yeah, I mean that's righteousness right there, and he was still just as righteous. His approach just changed because he is now more wise in his own mind, right? And I say in his own mind because like we have to have like even if you believe all this stuff, it's like Moses is still a man. Moses can make mistakes. Um, and yeah, no, totally. So, and I'm not saying he did. Moses is a funny guy. He's really funny because I mean, he writes the text on purpose so that if you're a pious person, like nowadays, if you're a pious Jew or you're a pious Muslim or you're a pious Christian who all believe in the Torah, um, then pious people are going to read this text, and what are they going to read? They're going to read the conversation between Moses and God, and to them now this is central stage. And since this is central stage, then obviously Moses is central stage, right? But he's not. He's not central stage. Go back and read the text. He's the man behind the curtain. I mean, like read the text. He's the man behind the curtain. He's not talking to the Pharaoh. How does Moses' words get into the Pharaoh's mouth if Moses is not even talking to the Pharaoh? Like, shit, peoples. Learn how to read. But, yeah, no, I mean, this is totally what I see the definition of righteousness in the Torah. It's action, not words. Righteousness has nothing to do with your words. Nothing. Moses came in and he took over the Jewish people. And a lot of those elders that Aaron was talking to, a lot of them are going to be dead on the golden calf night. Right? So he's setting them up. He's ambushing them. You know, he's no longer going into the streets and condemning the bad men. You know, he's giving them warning, but it's a sly little warning. You know, it's a sly little warning. But then he sets them up, and those that fail Moses' test, like he had his soldiers ready. Like you don't just, like, something like that just doesn't happen. It doesn't. Like think about that. The golden calf incident happens, and then you have all these Jews that Moses killed. Right? Well, how does that happen? Like, think about that on a practical level. That just doesn't happen like that. No, it doesn't happen like that. You have he had his soldiers ready, and he had a list of people, and he sat back because he's now got a group of students he's training, and he's sitting back with his group of students, and he's observing, and he's like, you know, this person, all these people on the list, but maybe this person on the list, maybe they said, no, we're not going to worship the golden calf. So boom, they passed the test. But I mean, spontaneity, that's just fantasy. That's not reality. Right? It's fantasy. That's not reality. There was no spontaneity there. No, Moses was ready with those soldiers, with the Jews he doesn't like and he thinks are a toxic drain on the Jewish people, criminals, and he boom, he cuts them down, just like he cut down that taskmaster, but he didn't get his own hands dirty. He ordered the righteous that he had found, because he's now a searcher of hearts, right? And he's like, this is what he's gonna do. Like, if he sees two Jews arguing, he's gonna go up, or he's not even go up. Maybe he's gonna figure out what's happening through others. But he's gonna figure out what's going on between these two Jews, and he's gonna mark both of them on their foreheads. Like, this Jew is, toxic. Toxic. He's abusive towards his other Jews. That's not right. Why would you do that? Why would you cheat your fellow Jew? That's wrong. And so he marks that guy on his forehead, but he's not gonna, like, walk up to him and condemn him anymore. I mean, I've said some things on this channel, just fucking calling people out, right? But don't do that. Like, don't, because that's that's not the Mosaic way. If you go into the streets and you call people out, your head's gonna get shot or chopped off. That's not the way of Moses at all. Because, and it makes sense, right? It makes sense, because if you look at human nature, there's almost like this binary between people who have self-awareness and people who don't. And the people who don't have self-awareness, you could talk to them till they're blue in their face, and you're not going to be able to get them to recognize their own shortcomings. And you don't want to get them to recognize their own shortcomings so that you can, like, be over them, although some people do act in that way. But you want to get them to recognize their own shortcomings so they can be awesome, right? So they can be freaking awesome. And so that he wants his Jewish tribe to be filled with awesome people, and he's so excited with Uliab and Bezalel. I think I got that. But like that's what he wants. He wants to praise each individual Jew, just like he praises Uliab. And he's going up to this other Jew, not to bring him down, but to raise him up. But there's just this binary in this world that you can't go up to certain people and correct them. But the Torah, what does the Torah say? The Torah says is that if you go up to a good man and you fucking just get in his face and say, you're a little bitch. And well, you have to tell him why. That's like very ad hominem and not helpful. But like if you're like, oh you're whining too much, or you're this or that. I mean, sometimes catharsis is good, but too much catharsis maybe is whining. But they'll thank you. A good man will thank you for correcting him. Right? A good man will. And so it's almost this binary that you just can't correct some people. Because if someone's doing something wrong and you try to point it out to them, no, their lies create reality. And everything you're saying is not reality, and their lies are reality. It's like just blindness, and pitifulness. Ultimately, it's a different concept of what evil people are, because evil is like power. Like if you want to be a powerful good man, you got to be evil, But no, Moses was a loving and brave man before, or when he grew up in Egypt, and then when he got chased out, he stayed a loving and brave man. It's just he gained wisdom, right? He was that same righteous individual, and that's what righteousness. Like he goes into the Jews and he takes them over without respecting any of them. He's just like, boom, I'm now in charge, bitches. And none of you have a say about any of it. Like that's fucking righteousness. He's still that righteous man that killed that taskmaster and tried to lovingly correct the other Jew. And again, I think, oh, thank you, you're amazing. And so, yeah, no, I think that like not only all the stuff that I said about righteousness before, but like this stuff on Moses that I'm saying right now, I think this word righteousness has to do with actions and not words.